has been notified and has just arrived. And a copy of the agenda has been made available to the public. The mission of the Sumter School District is to equip students to be responsible, successful, and productive citizens in a global society. Our vision is to develop and cultivate competitive students who embrace diversity, act responsibly, and contribute positively to society. We will pause now for a meditative thought. Afterwards, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I'm really excited about the meeting tonight because, again, as you look around this conference table, every seat is occupied. We are extremely delighted to have join us tonight Robin Mills. Ms. Mills.
All right. Thank you.
She's been appointed by the Shore Air Force Base Commander as an ex-official representative for our military community. She comes to Sumter from the Joint Base Langley, and we are just extremely pleased and proud to have you, and we just believe that you will offer so much to this board and to this community. Thank you for coming on board and for sharing yourself and your skills with us.
Glad to be here.
Let's give her a hand and welcome. Okay, Mr. Douglas?
Yes, sir.
It's such a pleasure to have you. Yet, would you come forth now?
Approval of the agenda, sir.
I'm sorry, please forgive me.
Approval of the agenda.
1 second. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Past Chairman.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please, the agenda presented. If there are no objections, it is approved.
Amen.
Any objections?
No objections.
Twice, 3 times?
Unless-
Thank you. Now, Mr. Douglas, come forth, all right? All right.
Good evening. My name is James Douglas. I'm here representing the South Carolina Forestry Commission and specifically Manchester State Forest. Manchester State Forest is about 28,000 acres that are over in the Pinewood, Wedgefield area. And we are a working forest. And we come to you tonight to present a check to the school board. This money is 25% of all revenue made on Manchester State Forest, which there's a state law that says we have to give you that money, but if we didn't operate the way we operate, you get more money the more money we make. Our forest is gone through certification under third party to be a self-sufficient forest for multiple use aspects. So on the forest, we have recreational purposes, we have hunting and fishing, we do timber management, there's all kinds of sorts of activities. So anytime you're all in the area, I welcome you to stop by, speak. But tonight I bring you a check for $277,536.32.
Wonderful.
General fund.
I have the real check too.
Let me know, I mean,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
we got option two.
You're welcome. Ladies always get the money.
That's one,
Yes, sir.
that's option one. I support you. I don't want to stop you first.
What a wonderful gift from the South Carolina Forestry Commission, most especially from our area, a little better than $250,000. Thank you very much. Board communications, are there any announcements?
Yes, sir. Oh. Yes, sir. I heard Mr. Chairman, in regards to the policy committee, you mentioned that we can add another member to the board. I heard you mention earlier that Barbara said that Mr. Austin can take it, so I just want to make sure we say it in public.
So appointed, okay?
He's appointed. Mr. Austin is appointed to the policy committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to communicate to the board and to the Sumter community. On last Thursday, I got a chance to visit 6 of the 7 schools that were visited on last Thursday. During my visit, I would say that I thoroughly enjoyed interacting with the student bodies in each school, as well as the faculty and staff there. But I was very much so disturbed by the discrepancies in our facilities. Just going through those 6 facilities. So I'm asking that you, Mr. Chairman, and Chairman of the Facilities Committee, that we can schedule a time to have a Facilities Committee meeting to address some of those issues that were seen and observed during that visit.
All right, thank you. Any other announcements?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, a few of us had the opportunity to go to the school law conference. It was Mr. Austin, myself, Mr. Reagan, and Dr. Hilton and Dr. Penelope Martin Knox. We will be forthcoming with a report within the next 1 or 2 board meetings, sir. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Any other announcements?
I just wanted to say that I thought the opening meeting that we had at the Civic Center, was well done and very enjoyable and very inspiring and motivational. And thanks to all who participated and did a great job with that opening meeting. Thank you.
Any further announcements? Thank you. If not, I'll call for the finance report. Ms. Miller?
Good evening, Chairman Canty, board members. This evening, I'm going to discuss 2 main items with you. It's the 8% bond money. It's for the proposed capital projects for spring 2019. You've already approved the information system and technology portion of that, but we need to look at the maintenance portion of that proposed budget. If you can look on page 2 is the detail of the maintenance items that were proposed. I will just go through that list quickly with you. Item number 1 is HVAC units for $238,000. Item number 2 is 200 student tables and chairs for Wilder School, $100,000. Item number 3 is painting for $85,000. Item number 4, Alice Drive Middle Gym HVAC units, 3 15-ton units, $150,000. Item number 5, janitorial equipment, $100,000. Item number 6 is for roofing at approximately $1.9 million. That's Croswell Drive Elementary, Rafting Creek, and Millwood. Item number 7 is engineering for roof renovations for $24,500. And lastly, item number 8 is the GPS license for the buses at $65,000. That total budget is $2,662,349. Are there any questions?
Mr. McGee?
Yes.
Reverend McGee.
Yes, Ms. Miller, thank you for that. My question is on this report. I know we just merged R.E. Davis, and I know there were some renovations that need to be made. Is there anything in the near future as far as, and I know we made some progress already, but is there anything else in the near future in regards to R.E. Davis College Prep that needs to come before this board?
There's currently still approximately $300,000 remaining in the budget that was already approved in past bond issuance, and then you will have a fall bond issuance that if there is any additional needs that have been determined at that point, we could include it in that.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Painting, where are we painting? I saw you gave a location of the other things, but the painting and the, well, I guess janitorial equipment would be just shared wherever. But the painting, where are we painting?
That is done on a needs basis, and maintenance department will prioritize that, and as it's determined, those funds will be spent that way.
And we will be updated as to
Yes,
where the
ma'am.
painting is taking place.
Each month I give the update and I can include that information.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, one question. With this maintenance list, know we have a lot of maintenance that needs to be done across the district, but was this a prioritized list? Are these the things that are most pressing across the district, or these are just issues that have arose over the time?
These were prioritized. I can tell you this budget originally started over $5 million. Obviously, we did not have the funding for $5 million, and so at that point, we narrowed it down based on priority.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
One additional question. The HVAC units, where
Yes,
are they
ma'am.
going?
Again, they'll be prioritized. We still have funding left in the other funds remaining for that, along with the emergency transfer of projects that the board approved several meetings ago. And once we see where all those funds left out, we'll prioritize which ones these will be worked on.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
One additional, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
The GPS license for buses, now this is where we talked about Wi-Fi or something?
This is your security system and
Security
GPS
system.
tracking that is already in the buses,
Okay.
and this is just the annual fee to do that.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
All right, page 3. At the last meeting, the board asked that we look into having some money allocated for the arts and the athletics. I've got 2 options there at the bottom. You can see the reallocations of savings from an IT spring bond budget. The IT budget is above this, but you can see there were 2 items for staff and student desktops and teacher laptops that were budgeted for just over $1 million. And thank you to RPAD Jonas, we were able to have a significant savings on that. That resulted in a $275,000 savings, and so those funds can be allocated per the board's request. The first option, because there are still significant HVAC needs, is $200,000 of that savings could be allocated to HVAC and $75,438 to the arts and athletics. Or option 2 just reverses those line items with $75,438 going to the HVAC, with $200,000 going to the arts and athletics.
Questions? Ms. Ray?
Is there a need for additional money in the athletics?
So, good question. Sorry, am I on testing? So the request that was proposed at the last board meeting by Dr. Baker and previously, when we look at athletics, we look at arts as well. And the request was for $200,000 to be allocated for the arts. And with that being extracurricular, we included the athletics piece to that as well. So that's why they're combined in the request. Or the line item.
Your question, okay.
How would it be determined how the money allocated for arts and athletics would be divided? How's it gonna be determined who gets what and how much?
We would look at that
Where
as a
to go.
needs basis, and I would definitely discuss that with Dr. Martin Knox to determine that.
Thank you.
I do have a question now.
Okay.
With the savings from the IT spring bond, with $200,000 going to HVAC, how many more HVAC units would that purchase, or schools will be able to service with that?
We're actually weighing out options now. We sent 2 staff members the day before yesterday, Friday, wrong day, to another school district just to see what their HVAC units look like. And so right now, we're trying to determine the cost savings and the most effective way to provide air and cooling to our schools. So that number will be determined based on the need of the school and the units that will be required in order to meet the cooling requirements.
Thank you.
Okay. Further questions? All right.
Thank you.
Question once, twice,
Mr.
three
Chair,
times.
Mr. Chairman, I do have some additional questions in regards to a report that I requested, but for the sake of time, maybe I can just talk with Ms. Miller, maybe afterwards or something.
That'll be fine.
Okay, thank you.
That'll be fine. All right, that'll be fine. Okay. All right. Item 6 on the agenda is executive session. What's the pleasure of this board?
Make a motion that we enter into executive session for the purpose of receipt of legal advice regarding fiscal emergency declaration, legal briefing, discussion of proposed property contractual matters, and personnel report / employment, appointment, compensation, promotion, demotion, discipline, and/or release of an employee.
Second.
The motion is made and supported that we enter into executive session for receipt of legal advice regarding fiscal emergency declaration, legal briefing, discussion of proposed property, contractual matter or matters, and personnel report, employment, appointment, compensation, promotion, demotion, discipline, and/or release of an employee. Is there any discussion of the motion or the second? If there is no discussion, we will vote our pleasure.
Oh, there you go. Hey. All right.
Okay, there it is.
How was you? As you. I see that, man.
Votes 9 yeas. It's a unanimous vote. The vote carries. We'll enter into executive session. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for coming. And do come again. Thank you. Pressed. I don't know what we got here, man. The world. I know it. Oh,
Everything's going with this thing. Yeah, but I thought we didn't have it.
Hey, how's y'all?
All right, bro. I'm gonna get you, till we get right here.
Right now, you know, none of that's obligated to anything.
Okay. Just put it together. So that's just 2 in 1.
I'm about to brag on my machine. I said it worked better than I ever
You see, you got me on this.
Are you making a motion on the ball?
Yes, and the real estate.
No, you don't.
No, we don't. We just.
Hey, you second person. Somebody will be mad.
Believe it or not, at 7:31, we return to open session. And if it is the consensus of this group, we are officially back in session. Are there any objections to that?
No objection, sir.
Once, twice, three. Boy, you are just so amenable today. Caught me by surprise. Okay. We have two items for action. 8.2, the personnel report.
Mr. Chair, I'll move we approve the personnel report as presented by the superintendent.
Second.
Motion and second that the personnel report as presented by the superintendent would be approved. Is there any discussion? There's no discussion, we'll vote your conviction, please. Eight yeas and 1 abstention, the motion passed. 8.3.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 8% bond maintenance projects with option 3, splitting the $275,438 equally between HVAC and arts/athletics.
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion? If there is no discussion, we're prepared to vote. Bond project, the motion on the bond project is unanimous. It is approved. Consent agenda.
Motion to accept consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion and second that the consent agenda be approved. Is there any discussion? If there There is no discussion, we'll vote our convictions. The vote on the consent agenda is unanimous. Which brings us to item 10 of the agenda,
Motion to adjourn, sir.
the closing of the meeting, and the immediate past chairman know that we do not need a motion to adjourn. But if there are no objections, we will.
It's a record.
What?
Consent agenda,
No,
man.
we
Consent
just did-
agenda.
Oh,
we just did all of that, okay. I'm sorry, now where was I?
Meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned.
Record.
If there are no objections once, twice, 3 times. Ladies and gentlemen, we are closed at 7:32. Hallelujah.